At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome Leila Anthony Covert to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The public meeting at the Hudson Regional Pre-K-12 Board of Education is called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was published in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and notices were forwarded to board members and were posted as required. Roll call.
Ms. Burrell? Mr. Colangelo?
Here.
Mr. Fierro?
Here.
Here. Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Wells? Mr. Wingberger? Ms. Knox? Here. Dr. Beams?
Here.
Ms. Pantaleo?
Here.
And Mr. Harbison?
Here.
Any old business? Moving on to reports. Mr. Harbison.
Good evening. From Atlantic Highlands Elementary School. Our HHRS preschool program has been working on building relationships and making new friends. Both AHES and HES preschoolers and the families got together for a morning of science fun. We met at the Reaction Lab in Atlantic Highlands to make slime, snow, and worms. 22 families showed up for the event, and both kids and parents were very grateful. They enjoyed it so much that they requested more events in the future. This was our first successful community outing bringing our schools together. From Highlands Elementary School. As part of the holiday season, the HES Student Council organized a toy drive to benefit sick children at Jersey Shore Children's Hospital. Students assembled 124 gift bags filled with toys and activities. We are very proud of our Student Council for organizing this effort and grateful to the families who supported it. Cozy Up to Kindness Initiative. Through the Cozy Up to Kindness Initiative, students partnered with the PTO to collect hot cocoa, tea, and coffee in support of Lunch Break, a local organization that provides food, clothing, housing support, and essential life skills training to individuals and families in need throughout Monmouth County and beyond. Our next initiative, beginning in February, will be a pop tab collection to benefit the Ronald McDonald House. Just before winter break, the Osprey Band, Beginner Band, and HES Chorus delivered a wonderful seasonal performance. Congratulations to Ms. Gerda and her students on a fantastic concert. We're all looking forward to the spring performance. From Henry Hudson Regional School. The HHRS Admiral Players are proud to announce the upcoming production of Disney's The Descendants this March. Made popular on the Disney Channel, The Descendants tells the story of the next generation of Disney characters, including Maleficent's daughter, Mao, and Bella's son, Ben. Will the children repeat their mistakes of their parents, or can they unite and find strength in their togetherness? Performances are March 13th at 7 p.m. and March 14th at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. All tickets will be available at the door. Thank you for your continued support of the performing arts in our district. On Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, Mrs. Merrigan and the AP Literature class presented our school community with our annual Poetry Aloud competition. Students and staff were welcome to compete, perform, and judge. This year's contestants were Nick D'Angelo, Juliana Rangel, Derby Savis, Lily Hensel, Danny Nino, and Evelyn Knowles. Our judges included Mr. Gates, Mr. Montegrasso, Dr. Beams, Ms. LaBelle, and Mrs. Farrell. Additions to this year's program included poetic performances by Mr. Seville, Mr. Lynch, and Mr. Budnar, and live music by Indifference featuring HHRS students Kai Newman, Ika Curtis, and Luca Tapia. To top it all off, an original slam poem written by students in Mrs. Merrigan's creative writing class was showcased featuring Angela Staples, Mariska Evelich, and Mrs. Merrigan. The audience included the entire HHRS community, allowing us to unite and celebrate the arts together. Our top three finalists were cheered on loudly. Third place, Lily Hensel. Second place, Danny Nino. And congratulations to first place, Evelyn Knowles. Evie will move on to the regional competition on February 11th at Ocean County College. Congratulations to all participants and contestants. The National Junior Honor Society and National Honor Society, in collaboration with their advisors, Mrs. Condas, Mrs. Famey, and Ms. DeSanto, sponsored the 6th annual Holiday Door Decorating Contest. Classrooms throughout the school were selected in the holiday spirit, and NJHS and NHS officers selected Mrs. Larson's classroom as the best decorated door of the season. Proceeds totaling $170 were donated to Lunch Break in Red Bank, a community organization chosen by the members of both honor societies to support this year. In addition, National Honor Society News, Mrs. Famey and Ms. DeSanto commended their NHS members for their continued commitment to service and community involvement. During the holiday season, members spread holiday cheer by donating $400 in gift cards to families within the HHRS community. On January 9th, NHS members also volunteered at the Fulfill Food Pantry in Neptune. Using their after-school time, students purchased $300 worth of non-perishable food and toiletry items to donate. During their visit, members worked diligently mopping and sweeping the warehouse, as well as sorting and packing donations for individuals and families across Ocean and Monmouth County. The volunteer coordinator at Fulfill specifically recognized the HHRS National Honor Society members, noting that they were the hardest working group, students or adults, that the organization had hosted all years. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you.
Mrs. Shaw? Thank you. I just wanted to update you on the budget process. So we are in the middle of our budget meetings with all of the administrators. One thing that has happened in this past month is our insurance broker has advised us to budget for a 30% increase in healthcare and a 45% increase in prescriptions for next January, which would be January 2027. And this increase is in addition to the 32% increase that we got this past January. So this will be very difficult on the budget. We'll continue to work on the budget, and we'll meet with the finance committee to bring them up to speed on it at the end of this month or beginning of February, and report back in February. And I just wanted to notify everyone that since we have a new governor, the state aid is usually delayed when that happens. So the governor will be allowed to apply for a 2-week delay in releasing state aid, which may push back the budget deadline by 1 week. So I don't anticipate us having to change the March meeting, but we'll have to see once these numbers come out if we either have to have an additional meeting for the budget or push back the budget, the meeting before March.
Thank you.
Dr. Beams.
Right, welcome back everyone. I hope everybody had a wonderful break and that their new year has started off healthy and happy. Before I continue with my report, I just want to take a moment and do a moment of silence for Mr. Frank Teeple, who passed away early in January. Mr. Teeple began his teaching career as a history teacher up here at Henry Hudson Regional School. He went on to have a 30-year career as a guidance counselor at Red Bank Regional. He served as a longtime board member on the Henry Hudson Regional School Board and served as our board president. He has been active in the Highlands community since he and his wife Judy moved there in 1966, serving on many community organizations, and was a parishioner of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. So at this time, I would just ask everybody to take a moment of silence for the passing of someone from our community. Thank you so much. So I apologize for not being at the reorganization meeting. I unfortunately was hit with the very nasty respiratory virus that had been going around at that time and did not want to spread by germs. I want to congratulate Mrs. Knox and Mrs. Kozik on being named as board president and vice president. And I would also like to share my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Colangelo and Mrs. Thomas for their leadership over the last year. It was wonderful working with the two of you. Thank you so much. Tonight on the agenda, the board will be asked to accept the resignation of Mr. Wingirter. The vacancy has been posted on the district website, and we are currently accepting letters of interest. This is an Atlantic Highlands seat, so we are currently accepting letters of interest from Atlantic Highlands residents. Those are due to Mrs. Sherlock by February 17th, and the board will then hold interviews for the seat at the February meeting. I want to give a big congratulations to the Henry Hudson Regional School community. For the first time in the school's history, the school was named to the AP Honor Roll. We received a bronze medal award. The AP Honor Roll recognizes schools that expand opportunities for students to take AP classes and also for participation in our current AP classes and scores on our AP assessments. AP has been something that has been expanded over the years, and the last couple of years, our students have been outstanding, and so I want to congratulate the entire community for embracing that and this high achievement. Very exciting. Just to keep you guys informed, Governor Cheryl, if you haven't seen it, announced that she will be nominating Lily Lax as the next Commissioner of Education. Ms. Lax comes from the Department of Education as a commissioner in Texas. She has a long background in both non-public service and public education, so that is her nomination. We have a superintendent's roundtable meeting scheduled for Friday of this week. We're hoping to find out more about transition timelines, when the nominations would be voted upon, and when that transition for Mr. Deemer would happen. Additionally, at this meeting, Senator Gopal will be at our roundtable. And so, as Mrs. Sherlock said, we are facing not just our school district, but school districts across the state are facing exorbitant increases. Transportation costs are going through the roof. Out-of-district special education placement, there is no cap on how they can raise their tuition rates every single year. And then the healthcare rates for the school health benefits program, which we are a member of. We have, as Mrs. Sherlock said, we saw a 32% increase just now in our January 2026 payment, and we are asked to budget for another 30% increase for January of 2027. These are exorbitant increases in a small amount of time, and we will be hammering Senator Gopal on how we are supposed to navigate these exorbitant increases and then meet all of these other mandates with no help from the state. We have no indications right now where federal funding will be set for the upcoming year, and then obviously with the new governor, there's always changes to state funding formulas. There's been a lot of talk about that, and then we don't know what state aid will look like, and there could be a delay. So that makes for the budget process to be really, really tricky, and we are grateful that Senator Gopal will come and listen to all of the superintendents. I am sure it will be a very spirited conversation, to say the least. Governor Murphy also, on his way out of office, signed two big pieces of legislation that will be, we have to consider and plan for the 2026-2027 school year. That is the cell phone ban, so that's a bell-to-bell cell phone ban. Obviously, I love that. So as a district, we already did work on a limited cell phone use policy over the last year. It wasn't a total ban, it was a partial ban. However, we have to look at the new legislation now and look at the policy and see if we have to make any tweaks to our policy to be in line with the legislation. And then the other piece that was signed on his way out was that we need to teach cursive writing in grades 3 through 5. And so that will be in our curriculum planning for the upcoming school year. So we have to review the current policies and then have to figure out how to infuse that into that instructional mandate into our practices. So those are two things that we have to put into effect for the 2026-2027 school year. So we'll be looking at that over the next couple months. The state is moving forward with the new adaptive state assessments for both the NJSLA and the NJGPA. We have no idea what the field test yielded. They did not give us any feedback on what happened during the field test, but apparently, I guess it went well because we're moving forward with the new state assessments. So we will begin the training process for the new adaptive assessments beginning in February. That's when the state starts to offer those training sessions. We still do not have any guidance related to how these will be scored or how they will be used comparatively to previous year state testing. So again, we are hoping to learn more through the training or through more spirited roundtable discussions at any of our county level meetings. And finally, there is a significant winter storm predicted for this weekend. It's early, it's only Wednesday, so things could change, but we don't really know. But all indications right now seem to show that the entire East Coast is going to be hit by a significant storm. So we have been watching this very, very closely. We will communicate a plan as soon as we have one. Please make sure that all of your real-time contacts are updated in our system, because that's what we will use to communicate. We also will post things on our websites and on our social media. But we also ask, this looks like it's going to be a doozy. So please, 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 we already are experiencing really low freezing temperatures. Please, 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 it's very cold, very icy. We have lots of hills in our area. Please stay very, very safe during this time. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy, you're up.
Thank you, guys. Okay with that. I'm gonna have to come down to the elementary school in person myself. It's pretty impressive. My son doesn't do it, so it's exciting. Welcome everybody. Congratulations to all of the board for a new year. I'm here to report out what the 6th grade committee has been working on. Throughout the strategic planning process, priority was placed on student retention at HHRS and throughout the district, and I'm bringing our communities together. There's also considerable evidence that 6th grade is more socially, curricularly, and emotionally aligned with a full middle school experience. A view reflected in our surveys, where 47.7% of elementary respondents describe 6th graders as somewhere in the middle, while 54% of middle school students and 64% of high school students viewed them as younger children. And for the students here that read my emails, this is where that hard work pays off. Your voice is in here, so thank you. Deptford Township published a position paper on the benefits of moving the 6th grade to the middle school. To sum it up, because this is long enough, their key findings were that 6th grade aligns more naturally with middle school, particularly in terms of student development. Being in middle school often gives students greater access to subject specialists, these are certifications, more robust counseling and intervention programs, and more extracurricular opportunities. The paper argues that 6th graders benefit from a school setting specifically designed for early adolescent development. So our mandate was to begin this process in October, and we've been steadily moving forward since. It is also important to note that our mandate is to determine whether this is even feasible, and the committee began its work with our collective expertise, not with a predetermined outcome. So it's very important to keep in mind our final findings are, is it possible or is it not possible? So it's important to keep that as central to the discussion. Once we established our goals and settled into the process, we began crafting how we would get information from our community. We created surveys to 3 grade ranges and parents to capture the immediate raw feelings, and they were immediate and raw, so I appreciated that. The objective was to gather the real concerns and feedback so that any planning or restructuring could fully address everything. One of the questions, where do you believe 6th graders belong? As noted, elementary families were split, 38% preferring to keep 6th grade in elementary, 43% preferring Henry Hudson Regional, and about 19% were unsure, while middle and high schools lean more strongly towards viewing 6th graders as younger. The committee reviewed the information and identified some pretty clear areas the community would like us to address in further planning. Some survey highlights were a large commitment by our community to be part of this effort, offering their time to the process. Participation rates for both of our communities were representative of the student populations, which shows good participation. And there's a considerable group of people who will consider any proposal based on factors that we have not yet addressed as a committee. We also saw about 1/3 of respondents supported the move, 1/3 opposed it, and 1/3 were unsure, which reinforces the importance of continued communication and clarity. Based on community feedback and the desire for more specifics on the new middle school experience models, we're going to continue this work as a committee to address the outstanding items that need further exploration. For example, over 50% of unsure respondents requested more information about age group separation, transportation logistics, impacts on their traditions, academic, social, and financial outcomes. Supporters frequently cited curriculum alignment and age-appropriate socialization and access to more activities. Access to more activities was mentioned by 100% of those who support the move. While opponents most often raise the age difference concerns, 90% mention that as their concern, the loss of the traditions, and the social emotional readiness of our students. Over 75% reported that was a concern. We've also defined our expectations for a successful middle school experience. Physical separation between the middle school and high school programs, minimal to no impact on operating budgets and no loss of services, retainment of all elementary traditions and opportunities. It's also important to ensure that any changes to the middle school program are communicated at least a year in advance of any implementation so the stakeholders affected are well informed and thoroughly prepared. This aligns with the feedback from both elementary and middle school respondents, with almost 60% of elementary families preferring special assemblies and 50% of middle school students preferred more orientation events to support a smooth transition. An important aspect of any middle school program is to have a distinct identity, not just being different grades in the high school. This is central to our vision for the entire middle school program and is the model we see schools employ that give a rich and separate middle school experience. Obviously, we have some very large constraints and challenges that we have to go through. Financial uncertainties, the rising costs have created budget challenges, and as discussed, the new governor could need new financial structures, mandates, and other initiatives that could affect what we're doing. Creating a model that can be tested for long-term sustainability. Our populations do fluctuate year to year, so we have to make something that can weather those peaks and valleys. Current contractual language dictates our bell schedule, which is in place until June 2027, so we're not going to rush and try and ram anything into the current schedule, even if we do it. And then we have new projections for staff, including the appropriate certification, impacts on our support services, special education, multi-language learners, our gifted and accelerated students, and of course the effect on elementary school staffing and schedules. These concerns mirror community worries about budget impact, transportation, and overcrowding, the latter of which was cited by 80% of middle school respondents and 40% of elementary respondents. Elementary respondents emphasized both opportunities and concerns. 76% believe moving to the regional school will provide access to more clubs, while 61% expressed concern about navigating a larger building. About 51% concerned about increased bullying, and 46% about sharing facilities with older students. Middle school students echoed similar themes. About 58% were concerned about bullying and conflicts, 56 about younger students feeling overwhelmed, and about 36% stated that it's very important for sixth graders to have their own spaces. High school students were more cautious, as we expected, 53% believing that the move would negatively impact their school environment, though 40% did remain neutral to the effect. Across all groups, we also heard suggestions and preferences. Many requested clear communication and transparency, and about 10% volunteered to participate in further exploration, which is really great. A note on the survey, we did add a question because during strategic planning, this was brought up, a realignment of the elementary schools, and only about 15% of respondents were interested in restructuring the elementary schools into grade bands. So next steps. Mr. Jens and I are going to visit South Amboy Middle School High School, a school that has been running a 6 through 12 model for many years, to see how they separate the different programs. We've also reached out to David Brearley in Kenilworth, which is now a middle school, high school, which just recently moved their sixth graders to the 6 through 12 building. As a committee, we'll be creating models based on our shared goals, community feedback, and survey feedback. We will analyze staffing, scheduling, programming, and resource needs of new models, and conduct a financial analysis. There are many unknowns when we enter a budget cycle, as we discussed, with new state leadership, and more information is needed for accurate planning and reporting. This will likely take the remainder of the year and the summer. We hope to prepare a feasibility report and recommendations for the board in the first quarter of 2026-2027. And a really special thanks, I really enjoyed learning from and learning with the committee members. So special thanks to our exploration committee, Dr. Beams, Dr. Jackson, Mr. Ferrarisi, Ms. Commander, Ms. Voorhees, Ms. Stockton, Ms. Condis, Mr. Winger, and Ms. Soma have all really contributed an enormous amount of information that has really helped us. So thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you.
I do not have a board president's report, but I just wanted to take a moment and congratulate Henry Hudson on that AP honor roll designation. Great job, administration and staff. Way to go. Mrs. Thomas, you're up.
Hi, I am now the chairman of the policy committee. So I'm reporting on our meeting, which was held on January 13th. The policy committee reviews the policies on which this school is run. There are two types of policies: discretionary, where we have a judgment of what we want to include. They have to be within the letter of the law, but we have more input. And then we have the mandated policies that are linked to the state laws that guide education. It's very important for all of us, parents and board members, to know how to find our policy, how to read them, and to refer to them, because it really tells us how we are supposed to be functioning, we the board. This month, we looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's considered the first reading, because we all sat around and we went through them, those of us on the committee, and went through them line by line to discuss where they fit in. We have a company that does the legal standards called Strauss Esme Associates, and we pay them to find all the legal standards on all the current policies. This is how many policies or pages of these policies we looked at this month. So now this is our first reading. If anyone, board members or public, wants to look them up, they're on our website under Board of Education, School Policies. You can click on that. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot to understand, but sometimes it's kind of interesting too. If you see anything you have questions about, you can always write a note and email something to myself, Dr. Beams, so we can try to clarify it or at least know where our concerns are. This must be an active committee, not just a group that's going to sign off on what Strauss Esme thinks we should do. So I welcome you all to being, part of us, and I promise that we will do this diligently. Next reading, the next process is there's a second reading, which means we're supposed to read it ourselves. I always thought we were going to read it in the group. Back in the old days. But anyway, we don't read it to you, and we don't read it to each other. We have to read it ourselves, and after the second reading, they become our permanent policy until the next time they are revised. Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, Dr. Reeves, presentation, recognitions, and awards.
All right, our first presentation is our student spotlight, yes, which is our Shore Conference Leadership Summit.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, we are a part of Shore Conference of Athletics. So that's essentially 48 schools. It's basically Mountain Ocean Area. So when you come to a sporting event and you hear about us competing for division titles or conference tournaments, that's all the Shore Conference. So that handles our basic divisional scheduling and how everything like that basically works until you get to states and then state sectionals, and that all falls under NGSIAA. The other half of what the Shore Conference deals with student leadership. And you are looking at some of our premier student leaders right here. I had the pleasure to bring them to the only Shore Conference Leadership Summit of the school year this year. In my time as an athletic director, Shore Conference has done 3 summits, they've done no summits this year. We have 1 summit. And was able to bring some of these admirals here to hear from a speaker. He was a Shore Conference graduate, big-time soccer player, now is an entrepreneur. So he spoke on mindset and a little bit of his both athletic and then entrepreneurial journey. And additionally, they also got to interact with scholar athletes from across the shore. Cole Harbison is one of our student ambassadors. He was at our in-person event, and one of the biggest kind of pieces of feedback that we've gotten from our student athletes is that they want more time with each other. Typically, we'll bring it to an event, they'll hear from a tremendous speaker, have a box lunch, and they go home, right? So in that essence, at the student ambassador event that Cole was at, they got to have breakfast with one another, hear from a speaker, and a little bit of talking. This time around, we did the same type of thing. Breakfast together, which we kind of hung out by ourselves for the most part. But once we got into the auditorium, they heard from Ryan Clark, 2008 graduate from Friel Township, and then we divided them up into various groups with a handful of schools in each group, facilitated by a different athletic director. I made sure to stay away from them and the group that my daughter was in at Point Beach to make sure maybe they'd feel a little freer to talk when it wasn't me they were dealing with. And it was awesome just to be able to see them in a different light and have them not just hear from me, because they hear from me a decent amount, but to talk to other student athletes on various topics. This was sportsmanship, leadership. I mean, each AD did a little bit of a different thing, but you're going to hear from them in terms of kind of their takeaways and how they felt the day went. So before you have a mixed group here. The other aspect of those leadership summits, kind of the old school way, is typically your seniors and your captains, right, your upperclassmen, which is great because they've earned it. You go to a summit, come back to Hudson, and then they graduate, and then they leave, right? It took a while, we're starting to get smarter, and now we're starting to bring more underclassmen. As you'll see, Billy Quinn here is our only senior in the group, all the way down to freshman Molly Hensel, because we're planning on having Molly be here and make an impact for a while. And this way, they're all interacting with one another, right? So we've got the 3 juniors with Jack, Jojo, Maddie, and then Leah as a sophomore. So we've got a nice cross-section of our athletic student body. Some of them are in our Hudson Athletic Leadership Council. Some of them aren't. They're in multiple seasons, different clubs, because that's what we do here on the Hill. At any rate, I told them I would do the heavy lifting. But you are going to hear from them. They're going to give you some takeaways from Ryan Clark, and then anything they got in their various breakout groups.
How are we doing, guys? Yeah, summer was the first summer I've been to. Never been to something like that, so thank you, Mr. Fisher, for inviting us to go to that. It was good. We saw Ryan Clark was a soccer player for Friel Township. He played 4 years, and he played at Monmouth University for 4 years, and was drafted by Redmond. So to hear from someone who played sports at a professional level and to get like an insight in his mind as a leader himself. A couple of takeaways I had was as a leader, the majority of what you can give to the guys is energy. You know, guys feed off energy. They look to you. Specifically me as a leader, I like to, what I've gathered from the 4 years in high school, I like to try and, as much as I can, press on to the other guys, so when I'm gone, you know, and my time is up, that somebody else can pick up where I left off and hopefully keep the challenge going. Brian Clark was, he was pretty helpful for me personally. Just, I had never listened to a lot of people speak before. I myself have not spoke very much, but as I'm speaking here for the first time in front of a bunch of people, Brian Clark did the same. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say.
The breakfast was good. Some sticks with bacon and some eggs. And not to piggyback off what Billy said, but the leadership was good. And he talked a lot about what he's going to do after sports, and that's something that I feel like we all have to think about, because sports aren't going to last forever. So that was good to hear how he can stay in the sports industry even though you don't play anymore. And then going to the groups, they talked about how we can keep the shore more friendly and less like trash talking, and that was good to hear. And I listened to that well too. But it was good to hear everyone speak. Me and Jojo have been to a couple of these so far, and this was probably one of the most put together, one with the breakfast and then how everyone spoke. So I thought it was a very cool experience. Now Jojo will tell you more about that.
Hello everybody. With my experience, I thought it was very good because after we talked in the group, we had smaller groups, and they talked a lot about what Jack said, you know, about the trash talking and all that, and they asked a lot of questions how they think they can make it better. And whenever a lot of people said like, oh yeah, in game and stuff like that, like whenever people talk, they said, all right, we'll work on that, and like the refs will worry about that and try to make it a better place, and stuff like outside of school, whenever like there's a challenge or other stuff like that, they'll try to their best to take them away or try to stop all the trash talk and everything like that. And that's all I have to say, everybody.
Hudson. One of my biggest takeaways from his speech was like, you can get better, but you need to know like what you need to get better at to work harder for it. You can work hard and get better at one thing, but it's not making you better for the specific thing that makes you better as a whole. And that was my biggest takeaway. Another one was that nobody really ever reaches their full potential. They can like aspire to be at that point, but you never really get there. And yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Yeah.
Hi everybody. I'm only a freshman, but like I had like a huge takeaway from this that like it's not always about sports. It's about your team too, and about how you handle certain situations as like a team together, not going off at each other, work as a team together, like keep a positive mindset throughout the team, and to like work on it, because all the sports are not your friendships aren't just gonna be at sports. You go outside of sports, see each other at school, see each other in the hallways, at lunch we all sit together and everything. It was just like, everyone has problems, and then when you go back to sports, the problems carry over to the sports. So taking away from being friends and just going to sports, because more like talked about and together and yeah, pretty much. That's it.
Hi. So I thought it was really cool to go because I haven't been to one of these before, so I thought it was really cool to see like all the other leaders in the short conference. But one of my biggest takeaways was it's not really about what you do, and it's about like how you do it and how you work on it and getting it right the first time and then being able to keep doing it right. And then one of the cool things I thought about in the takeaway in the groups was like listening to all the athletic directors in the short conference and just listening to all the stories that like people have had. And then just thinking about like how lucky we are, like being up here and how we're not really like involved with that much, like because how much people hear from other places and how much like we don't have to go through that. And yeah.
As you can see, they're amazing, and these are typically my best days on the Hill. When I get out of my office, I get to hang out with them, so I appreciate you guys coming with me. Thank you very much. Another life lesson for them, right? When you do a good job, you typically get more work and you get to come to a board meeting. So just remember that, and do this your best work. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Pastor! Well done, thank you. Appreciate it.
So next up, we will be recognizing 3 teachers who have attained tenure in the district. For those of you that don't know, tenure is a commitment. It's teachers that have been with us for 4 years and a day, and that's how we attain a tenure in the state of New Jersey. The tenure is really a testament to the commitment of these teachers to be here long term and to commit themselves to the mission and the vision of their schools and their students and families and who they serve. So tonight we have 3 teachers that we are recognizing for tenure. Unfortunately, 2 of them could not be with us tonight. Sometimes night events are difficult for our teachers. We recognize that, but I would like to recognize our 2 staff members that could not be here tonight. Mrs. Lauren Hires, who is our school nurse at Highlands Elementary School. She attained tenure. Yes. Ms. Pauline Klimkowski, she is one of our speech therapists who has been with us for the last 4 years. So thank you to Ms. Klimkowski and congratulations. And then Mr. Farisi, if you'd like to come up, because we do have a teacher here tonight that we are going to honor for tenure, and I'm very excited for her to be here tonight and get this honor.
All right, tonight we recognize Miss Robin Siegel. Come on down.
All right. Tonight, we are proud to recognize Ms. Robin Siegel on the Achievement of Tenure. As our math interventionist, Robin has made tremendous impact on student learning, helping students grow by leaps and bounds in their mathematical understanding and confidence. She takes a truly individualized approach, meeting each student where they are and tailoring instruction to support their unique needs. Beyond her work with students, Robin is a trusted support and guide to our staff, always willing to collaborate, share expertise, and lend encouragement. And a lot of that is to me. I go to her all the time with questions, and she's outstanding. Her dedication, professionalism, and commitment to excellence strengthens our entire school community. Congratulations, Ms. Siegel, on this well-deserved milestone. Very much. Well, here. We have a student of the month in the audience. Is there a Lucy Egremont in the audience?
Listen to all these wonderful things and look at mom and dad.
Lucy, here's what Miss Merker had to say about you. It is an absolute joy to have Lucy in my class. She has done a truly sensational job transitioning into her new classroom, adjusting to a new workload and schedule with confidence and maturity. Lucy is a dedicated and enthusiastic learner who approaches each day with curiosity and determination. She asks thoughtful questions, works incredibly hard, and consistently gives her very best. We are so proud of all she has accomplished and excited to see her grow. Great job, Lucy. And next we have our staff member of the month, and this is the most seriously I'm going to speak to this person since I've met him, Mr. Bill. If you've ever been to Atlantic,
Stand here and listen to all these wonderful things.
all right, we are honoring Mr. Bill tonight, partially because I want to see the reaction from Mr. Dave. It is our pleasure to recognize Bill Lamprecht as Staff Member of the Month. As Security Officer for the Henry Hudson District, Bill consistently brings a warm and friendly presence to our buildings each day. He has taken the time to build strong relationships and establish a wonderful rapport with our students, staff, and families, helping everyone feel welcome and safe. His professionalism, approachability, and dedication to our school community do not go unnoticed, and we are grateful for the positive impacts he makes each and every day. Thank you, Mr. Lamprecht.
Good evening, everybody. Congratulations. I'd like to start by big congratulations and echo to Mr. Bill. He's also at Highlands Elementary graduating. Definitely well deserved. Also, congratulations. Dr. Beams mentioned Ms. Kupkowski and Nurse Hires couldn't be here tonight, but I would like to send out a congratulations from the staff at Highlands. They do such a great job. So, congratulations to them. Also, student athletes, great job tonight. I have to say, what an awesome thing that they do now for student athletes. As a student athlete myself, in high school and college, the opportunities that you have now to get involved in leadership. Great job coming up here with that improv. Pretty impressive. Well done. And great job, Coach Butcher. Okay, Highlands Elementary School, Student of the Month, and also led us today in the pledge, Layla Anthony Colbert. Layla is polite, she's kind to others, and consistently diligent in her work. She's actively involved in school life throughout her participation in the school play, coming up as I think Willie Wonka, right? She's also in the National Honor Society. In addition, she demonstrates strong leadership and a commitment to service by working hard to garner community support to organize holiday gift bags that you heard about during our student board report for Jersey Shore Children's Hospital. Excellent job, Layla. Keep it up. Yeah. And our Highlands Staff Member of the Month is Miss Marina Capaldo. Ms. Capaldo is an incredibly compassionate and patient educator who truly understands her students as individuals. She is highly attuned to their unique needs and approaches even the most challenging situations with empathy and care. Ms. Capaldo is also a strong communicator who consistently is responsive and thoughtful in her follow-up with families, colleagues, and administrators. Her dedication to her students and her ability to build meaningful connections reflect the qualities of a truly outstanding teacher. Ms. Capaldo is in her second year with us, and she's been an outstanding addition. Congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. Our student of the month is Stasha Drisky. So, this is the nomination. Stasha is often overlooked because she is just so nice. She is sweet and kind, but she's also one of the hardest workers that this teacher has. She makes others feel accepted when it would be easier for her not to offer an olive branch to others. She's detail-oriented when necessary, but equally creative when the task requires such. And I can always rely on her as a smile and a good morning, because she genuinely is one of the nicest people, kindest people, and represents everything that an admiral is in our school. So congratulations. Our athlete of the month is Mateo Mosca. He couldn't be here tonight because he's with the wrestling team at an event. So he has been crushing in wrestling, and he is the first. He's actually been on the month twice before. This is the second time, but he's also been a two-time recipient of the Titan of the Week for the Kingsburg Wrestling Program. We're enormously proud of him, and we'll be celebrating him during the week. Our artist of the month, Danny Eno. This student lives and breathes for the performing arts, specifically theater and music. This student is highly involved in both academic and extracurricular programs, taking on leadership roles in both areas. Not only can this student command the stage, capture the audience, and carry the show, but they also serve as a peer-to-peer community leader, offering wisdom and advice to other members of the artistic community in HHRS. Sometimes, with the amount of times I call him to do things, he's like a supervisor for me. But setting up sound, lights, helping me with the computer, he really, I hate that he's a senior. I hate it. Because we're going to enjoy our time. But, my gosh, are we going to miss him. So, congratulations to him. And our staff member of the month, Mr. Dan Pastor. So as you can tell, Mr. Pastor is a bright spot in people's day. Never once have I seen him not welcome students into his classroom warmly. Students leave his classroom ready to face the world. He's also cheerful, stands out in the hall to greet the students and staff. He's always upbeat and happy. He's an excellent teacher and always has his students working on fun and interesting projects that they enjoy. He is creative and has created new classes for electives. And the best part is he keeps us in fresh vegetables and herbs all year long that he grows in his classroom. I will tell you, when I come down the hallway from the office and I turn right in the morning, Mr. Pastor is one of the first faces I see, and he genuinely exudes energy at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it really does it's really great having Dan as part of the staff, and he's one of the most popular people in our building. Staff, student, everybody. Not Bill, because he likes the later schedule at the elementary school. Mr. Pastor also runs our robotics club. They're doing amazing things in there, and I've gone to him for advice on how to improve other programs. So congratulations, Dan. Great. And just a quick shout out to Jesse behind the camera over there. He's filling in for Mr. Moore. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, agenda items only. Time will be allocated for public comment at this meeting. Each speaker may be allotted 3 minutes to address the board after being recognized by the presiding officer. To permit fair and orderly expression of comments, we ask that the public wait to be recognized, preface comments with your name and address for the record, direct all concerns to the presiding officer, discuss only concerns that have been previously addressed in the proper administrative channels, and refrain from using any legal or staff members. Public comment?
Hi, good evening. I'm Jane Melnick from C5 Hillside Court in beautiful Hudson, New Jersey. I was wondering, regarding committee assignments, I was wondering why there is no regionalization committees this year. Thank you.
Do you know that would be an ad hoc committee that would be as if we needed to?
Just as a follow-up, I understand ad hoc means as needed. It looks like the policy committee serves as ad hoc. And in a previous year, there was a committee, at least a committee chair for the ad hoc committee. So there is a committee.
If we need to put together a committee, we'll create an ad hoc committee that will.
So there isn't one right now.
There's not
Thank
one
you.
created right now.
The people,
Jessica Noonan, Waterwich Avenue. We're talking about committees. I just thought, has the Board of Ed ever thought about committee of the whole versus individual committees? But being such a small school district, I think it would be beneficial to have a committee of the whole instead of these smaller districts where everybody might not be informed of everything. Just a suggestion.
Thank you.
This is just for agenda items, right?
Agenda items. Any other comments? Move on to, we've got the board secretary certification along with the New Jersey School Board Recognition Month. Do I have a motion and a second to move those items?
Motion, Kozik.
Second, Thomas.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes.
Mr. Piero?
Yes.
Ms. Kozick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes. Moving on, approval of minutes. We need a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from December, our executive meeting minutes from December as well, and the regular meeting minutes from the recent meeting.
So moved.
Second times, the other times.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes.
Mr. Piero?
Yes.
Ms. Kozick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes. We need to accept the board member resignation. Do I have a motion and a second to accept Mr. Linger's resignation?
Motion, Thomas.
Second, Kozik.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes.
Mr. Piero?
Yes.
Ms. Kozick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes. There was correspondence on the agenda, you can see that. There was no facility use or request, buildings and grounds at this time, so we're moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion and a second for consent agenda?
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes.
Mr. Piero?
Yes.
Ms. Kozick?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes. Right, there's new business with the committee assignments, that we don't have a vote on that, and we're back to opportunity for public comment again, the same rules apply. These are non-agenda items.
Hi, Lindsay Harbert Silverman, 74th Street, Highlands, New Jersey. I am the mother of a kindergartner and an 18-month-old who will hopefully be in pre-K3 in the 2027 fall. I just have to say, the letter that went out this week sent a panic through the hearts of young parents that have children that they're hoping to get into pre-K. The lottery system is very confusing, especially when it comes to families that would take precedence if they already have a child in pre-K, as opposed to families that just have children in the school already. It's very confusing as to who it's making it more equitable for, since our as far as I know at Highlands, we've never been at capacity. So I'm not really sure what the issue is, and if it's going to give families from outside the district, not outside the district, but from Atlantic Highlands precedence over my child. And I'm not really sure where to voice my concerns, so I'm here.
So the reason that the district made the decision to move to the lottery system was because it was based on first come, first serve before. So if families worked or couldn't get that in right on time, they were at a disadvantage. So we decided to do the lottery system so there wasn't that panic of, did I get it in on time? Am I the first one to get it in on time? Because that also creates a different type of panic. We also cannot give priority to people that have children in the entire school district, because that is over 90 different families that also have preschoolers. So like we can only give priority if we were going to send a sibling because of the way that the grant is written. So the first families that we give priority to always are free and reduced, because that's who the preschool grant is for. Obviously our 3-year-olds that are continuing as 4-year-olds, they are placed in the program first because obviously they're continuing. So with the way that the lottery system is, it's very similar to first come, first serve. We first place the students in their home schools. So we place, it's not like yes, it's a lottery system that everybody is put in there, but we first place them in their home schools.
Okay.
So Atlantic Highlands students would be placed in all of the spots that we have in Atlantic Highlands, just like we did for the first come, first serve. Highlands students would be placed at their home school. If those spots in one or the other, there are no more, but there are spots at the other school based on the lottery numbers, they would then be placed in the program in the other school. But we do the home schools first, we fill the seats that we have, and we always estimate. So we right now have what's called the universe, that is the preschool universe, of 75 students total. So we have not had issues with capacity yet. We don't anticipate that based on kind of the projections that we keep seeing. But we would fill those classes. So I know it seems that way, but it's really no different than the first come, first serve. But that was really based on if you were not a working mom, you could get that in on time, you could get in line on time, because it was really about the time that you got your application in, as opposed to opening up a registration window and then doing a lottery system, which is what most school districts do.
I would suggest maybe doing a follow-up communication. I spoke to 2 moms just today who were picking up our kids from rec. They have younger children that are going to be entering the school system. They're very confused about the lottery system. They feel like maybe their kids are it's not going to be reliable for their children to be entering. So I think that the communication was just, it didn't hit the mark, and people are definitely like...
I can have Dr. Lombardi send something out, but on that form is also to direct your questions to Dr. Lombardi. She supervises the preschool program, so if anybody has any concerns or questions, they can either contact the building principals or Dr. Lombardi specifically, because she oversees the entire preschool program.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Jessica Noonan, Waterworth Avenue. I just want to follow up on that. As far as I remember, Highlands, I don't know if it was a first come, first serve, or if that just started 2 years ago. Highlands has never had a wait list for pre-K ever until 2 years ago. They had a wait list 2 years ago. I remember 2 children that were waitlisted in Highlands. So I guess what I'm asking is, if we're taking 3 and 4-year-olds at the same time, where, like, I personally, according to the grant, have to do that, but is there a chance a Highlands child could be waitlisted for a spot in Highlands to put an Atlantic Highlands child there?
No, we would first fill the home schools. So residents of Highlands would be filled first in Highlands until we reach the capacity of our 30 seats there. Same thing at Atlantic Highlands.
So are we having 2 lotteries or what?
It's 1 lottery, but it's based on your home school, right? So the registration is based on your home school. So you get a lottery number, but that's how we place you in the seats in those home schools. And so the Highlands kids would be placed in because that's their home school.
How would you determine if there's only 1 lottery though? When you pick it, you wouldn't know if you're picking Atlantic Highlands or Highlands until that first pick.
We do, because they're assigned to the application, so we know they're a Highlands kid or we know they're an Atlantic Highlands kid. So as they come through in the lottery, if you're a Highlands kid, you get placed in the Highlands seat. If you're an Atlantic Highlands, until all of the children are placed. So it's just until the seats are at capacity. Highlands residents go to school in Highlands unless there's more than 30 children and then there's a seat somewhere else, and then they would have to go into that seat based on the lottery. It was the same thing with first come, first serve. We've just never been at capacity in Highlands. So those kids have always been so first come, first serve, we got all of the kids at the same time. They were placed in their home school. So it's not a different process.
Yeah,
it's just the way we're
because in like the last 5 years, we went from everybody's accepted to first come, first served wait list, and now we're at the lottery. So
because we have a preschool grant now as an entire district. And so those are the ramifications of the grant.
And of course, early intervention, is that part of the grant or is that something?
So early intervention is different because the grant, any students that are identified for special education services, they're automatically placed. They're not in a lottery. They don't fall under the grant. So it's the seats remaining outside of special education students.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other public comments?
Hi, Gina Melnick, C5 Hillside Court, beautiful Highlands, New Jersey. I think the best way for me to start is to follow up on the comment that I just heard. And when it comes to like now, as an entire district, things are different. In Highlands, it feels very, very different than I think the changes for Atlantic Highlands. And I'm nervous that we're creating not one district that's working together, but like 2 tiers of service, whether it's intended or not. I feel like the characterization of the wait list and everything is a little disingenuous, especially considering that when Atlantic Highlands Elementary had a preschool, and some years, and I'm only talking about 5 years ago, when they had a preschool, general education preschool, it was a tuition-based preschool. So for Atlantic Highlands, the difference is you have free preschool, but you might have a wait list. For Highlands, the only thing that's changed is there's a wait list. And it feels like a lot of the things that have changed since regionalization don't seem to be equitable for the 2 districts. And I think that I speak for a lot of people in Highlands. If you want, I'll go ahead and get your petition, but I don't think you need it. A lot of people in Highlands feel like there were some misleading promises. I mean, whatever you want to think about the 6th grade committee and whether it's a good idea or not, I remember over and over the public was told nothing will change about the schools. We were told that schools are going to stay exactly the same. You can see it in the regionalization report. And now that's not true anymore. In the regionalization report, it says that the apportionment method of 100% equals valuation and 0% enrollment is least favorable for Highlandsboro, while being the most favorable for the ratio for Atlantic Highlands. And every year, the Highlands share of sending students in the tax levy goes up, while the percentage paid by Atlantic Highlands goes down. So I'll just wrap up my comments by saying that when people went to vote, they were told that the 2023 referendum was a first step. So if there's been litigation signed that the district will not pursue merging and regionalization with Seabright, if the district and the board has decided there's no need for a committee chair for an ad hoc committee for regionalization, it really feels like Highlands is just going to have to just accept what's happening. And I feel like that's incredibly unfair, as I've been saying for years now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Board of Education comments? No? Right, we have a we have a board training, so we're just going to take a minute and restructure the room and join us for board ethics and the role of the board.
President, I'm going to go over, I'm sitting far from here, it smells, but I really don't care. So I'm trying to excuse myself, not even before I'm okay.
I'll do that.
Thank you. I didn't smell you that hard anyway.
Do you want us to turn towards the screen? Would that help to rearrange the tables? Well, I'm just for that. Just adjust a little bit to turn. Yeah, just so that we can all see everything and, you know. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.